I mean, obviously you've always had a strong inclination to combine, there's the music, but you've always, in a way that I feel like very similar to David Bowie, you've always wanted it to also be a great theatrical experience. You've wanted it to, I mean, I remember the giant suit and Stop Making Sense and how arresting that was. What a great idea that was.
Thank you.
So you have this, your physicality and the way you moved, and then the suit and how they're fighting each other but also complementing each other, and it burned a hole in my brain at the time, and I think for a lot of people it did. But where did that sensibility come from, do you think? Were you always interested in that, in making it visual and theatrical?
Little by little. I think at first, I mean, again, growing up, seeing like David Bowie shows and some other kinds of things, I realized, oh, that is a thing that can be done. You can do a kind of theatrical show with wear costumes or whatever. That's not completely out of the question. But I thought, no, but we don't know what to do. So we started off trying to take it down to ground zero and not do anything. Just wear street clothes on stage and not have any kind of look. Of course, not having a look ends up being a look.
Yeah.
There's no way, you can't escape it. So after a while, little by little, started incorporating things, like a little bit of movement, this and that, more and more, a little bit of lighting. At first, we had no lighting. We would say we'd go into a club and just say, just turn them on when we start and then turn them off when we're done.
Really an on-off, just someone with an on-off switch.
Basically, yes. Just, sorry, I know you want to be creative, but please, we're not ready for that yet.
Right.
And yes, and I, living here, I started seeing kind of downtown experimental theater, things like that, people doing different things. And I saw various kinds of performances and whatever. And I thought, oh, there's all different ways of doing this. I don't have to be like the various rock stars that I know about, that I might love, but there's other ways of doing things. I didn't necessarily copy those other people, but it kind of opened up a world of, think outside the box. Think of what you can do. And I was we'd finished a tour. I was in Japan talking to a friend over there, and I said, I'm not sure what to do on stage for our next tour. And this guy said, well, being kind of facetious, saying, well, in the theater, everything has to be bigger. And I'm thinking about what I'm wearing. At that moment, I was thinking what I'm going to wear. So I drew on a napkin a really big suit. Now, being in Japan, I was also thinking of the kind of traditional theater there, like this genre of theater called No. They wear these very wide-shouldered
I've seen those
outfits.
Yes,
and they look kind of flat when they turn to the side.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a big rectangle in front with a head in the middle.
And the shoulders are very, obviously very square.
Yeah, very square. And I thought, you could do that and not have it look Asian, but have it look like a kind of business person's suit. I don't know what that means, but I thought that could be nice. It feels like it means something.
Did you feel that the glasses also were part of the aesthetic? You know what I mean? Or was it just, I need to see?
No, I didn't wear glasses then.
Yeah.
And
you did in some videos, I think.
Yeah, I did in some videos.
But it was just for the look.
They didn't have any glass in them. I don't think. Yeah, it was just for the look that I thought this character.
So, but I mean, then you come from that, you start there, but then as you need to, as you evolve and start playing with things, you start adding more and more, but it starts very stripped down.
Yes. I didn't know what to do, so thought, let's eliminate everything. No guitar solos. Maybe there was just a hint of a guitar solo. We're going to wear our street clothes. the lights are just going to come on at the beginning and go off at the end.
Right.
All those kinds of things. No choreography.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of take away everything and see what's left. We kind of did that musically too. It was kind of, let's remove all the extraneous musical elements so we only play what's absolutely necessary. And then you can start to add, other things can creep back in.
When the band breaks up, I think the last time you played together was at a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction, is that right?
Yeah.
How did it feel when you guys were up there together?
It was fun, but it was tense.
Yeah.
I remember there were some musical mistakes that drove me around the bend.
Yeah.
Just thought, oh, geez, really? Now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Here?
Yeah. There's the pluses and minuses of being in a band.
Yes.
And I have always really admired the decision not to reform the band, because I've always thought, when something happens and it's pure and then it's done, there's a real beauty to stepping away from it. Is that how you have felt?
I love collaborating with people, but being with a band is, I have to say, it's really wonderful. You're like a family. You're like a little team, a little army, all those kinds of things. But then after a while, it gets all the kind of negative stuff in a family is there, as well as the positive stuff.
Right. Who took my toothbrush?
Yeah. Do you have to chew like that? Yeah.
I think it was Lorne Michaels said to me once, he was describing, I don't know if it was Rowan and Martin or some famous comedy team, but he said, when you're down and out and you're working your way up in the clubs, you look at your partner and you think, thank God he's up here on stage with me at this dive. But then when you hit it, the huge big time, you look over at that guy and you go, what the hell is he doing here? It's just human nature, but also things run their course. Things run their course.
Did you ever work with a team like that?
No, I mean, I've always been very collaborative. I started out as a writer, and I was a comedy writer for a long time, and that was very collaborative. And I enjoyed that. But I also started to, when I started performing, I found that, I'm kind of a control freak. And it's easier when not everything is a collaboration. So it's the yin yang. It's, you want it to be the way you have it in your head. You want to hear it the way you hear it in your head, whether it's comedy or music. And it's a struggle. It's a struggle the collaborations are great, but then there's those moments when you think, can I just tell everybody exactly what to do? And then, of course, you're Mussolini.
Yes.
Who did not make it in comedy, by the way.
I remember being like that at various points, being a control freak and saying, it has to be this way. Has to be this way. And we're going to do it again. We're going to do it again. And years go by, and I realized, whatever the phrase is, you catch more flies, you get more something with sugar, or whatever it might be.
Flies go into sugar and die. Wait, yes. Honey can cover sugar. No,
so, yes.
I'm not making this any better.
But it meant,
I know what you're saying.
It's supposed to be
you
like
catch more flies with honey than vinegar.
Something like that. So I knew that.
Now I'm a control freak. We've got to get this right.
Yes.
So there's a fly. Okay, sorry. I would like it if we just completely broke down over this, got into a fight, and then you left. It was over this saying.
I'm going to go look this up.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to the New York Public Library. Why don't you use your phone? I want to go to the library. I
don't trust the internet.
It's stealing my soul. This is just apropos of nothing, but just because you mentioned that. Are you kind of a Luddite? Are you comfortable with technology? Are you comfortable with internet, phone, or?
I use it. I use the internet. I have a mobile phone, of course, but I'm not on social media.
Right.
I'm kind of suspicious of what that does to people. There's other things that I'm kind of suspicious about. That the big tech companies know so much about us and therefore are kind of manipulating us in various kinds of ways. The way I say it, it sounds like science fiction, but it's more like manipulating you to stay on their platform and buy stuff that you don't
in subtle ways.
Yeah.
Do you ever use a typewriter?
Yes, I have, but I don't use it anymore.
I know we all did use a typewriter. I still use a typewriter because I love the look of them. The same way I love the look of a guitar, I also love the look of certain kinds of typewriters, and I love having them around. And there is a little niche cult out there of people like me that still type people letters and put them in the mail.
I'm sure people love getting a letter.
They love getting a typed letter, even if it's quite abusive. I've written the creepiest, most abusive letters. People are like, you type this? This is incredible. But I don't know, you seem like you would maybe fall into that pocket of sometimes, you want to ride a bike, you want to keep it simple.
Yeah, to some extent. To some extent, I feel like, enjoy your life and you have to obsess over all this stuff.